It is standard event Saturday. That means each week I ask you what you want to see me play in a standard event, and then I go ahead and play it. So hi, it's McFluffy52, and for this week we're going to be playing Mono Black Midrange. If you're unfamiliar with standard events, they are located under the events tab in Arena, and they're a way to earn gems in game. You can pay either 2,500 gold or 375 gems, and you keep playing until you reach 3 losses. And generally you want to try and hit around 3 wins, because that's when you get 200 gems and 1 pack. 1 pack is 200 gems in the store, so that is slightly more than what you would have to pay to play with gems. And yeah, your payouts do get much better though if you can win more. But let's go ahead and talk about the deck and what we can expect. Today we're playing Mono Black Midrange. I am pulling from Untapped TG here. We are playing the second highest list here. This is I got Untapped Premium thanks to all of your support, and so we're just going to go with the highest, well, the second highest here, Mono Black Midrange deck. I don't like the fact this one has 24 lands. It only has 200 matches, so I think 1,600 matches, this one should be pretty good. One thing that's interesting with Mono Black Midrange, it's a lot of just kind of some very powerful threats and a combo in Unstoppable Slasher plus Bloodletter of Aclazotz, which means if you connect with the Unstoppable Slasher, you just one-hit KO your opponent. And then besides that, it's just a lot of powerful threats, and then kind of removal suite according to what flavor you like. Card draw engine in Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber here. And then one thing though I was going to say is, yeah, there's some interesting differences in removal spells. The top one here is playing Shoot the Sheriff, which destroys non-outlaw creatures, whereas Go for the Throat is restricted to target non-artifact creatures. And then also, yeah, the land counts is another interesting thing. I think I do like having 25 lands a bit more, just so that you can consistently draw lands when you're trying to resolve 4 mana spells. And then this one is playing only 1 Soulstone Sanctuary. I was tempted to bump it up to 2, but if you scroll down here, you will notice that there's a list here with 16,000 matches played, and it has 2 Soulstone Sanctuaries, and then pretty much the rest of the deck is identical. So maybe having only 1 is better for consistency. But yeah, that is what we're planning to play today. Let's go ahead and hop in some games. Let's see if we can hit the fabled 7 wins. That would be pretty nice, but so far our record in standard events has actually been pretty good. We've gone pretty much even every single time, reaching I think at least 3 wins in every single event. But yeah, if you want to see more of these standard events, there is a playlist in the description, and do let me know what you want to see me play this next week. I try and pick out what I think, well, what people comment and what I think is viable, or also what I think would be fun to play or I'm interested in playing. So someone commented Mono Black, and I was like, sure. There were, ooh, Beanstalk. There were several comments for Rakdos Sacrifice. I have played Rakdos Sacrifice previously, though I know the additions of Bloodghast and Gastral Thrill Seeker, or Thrill Roller, I think it's Thrill Roller, are like 2 new additions for Sacrifice that are interesting, so maybe we should revisit that. Let me know what you think down below, and I will definitely, it's definitely on the list to revisit. Especially if people oh, I should know where to run just in case the opponent does get. Why am I casting nowhere to run there? I'm casting it because, okay, well, this Slasher is going to immediately get exiled, but Leyline Binding, or are they going to hold off the Leyline Binding until instant speed? But yeah, this feels like a bit of a bad matchup for us. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, this is why I put down the nowhere to run, because Zur gives hexproof, so if I can get rid of... I could trade. No, I don't think I will. I could play the Aclazotz and force them to block, but then that exposes the Aclazotz to removal. This leyline binding in their hand is very problematic. We don't want to really leave, like, they had the perfect turn, what was that, turn 4? Yeah, that was turn 4. Activate Hauntwoods and attack in. I think we annex and cut down the Zur and half health them, or do we just force them to block with Bloodletter? I like drawing a card with the Annex though. We can attack in and see if they block. I mean, maybe I guess we'll force a block here. I'm not confident. I just did the right play there, but I hate how short the timer feels when you're trying to make pretty bold decisions. All right, well, now I feel really bad about that. I didn't think they were going to go ahead and sunfall away like everything they owned, but Tony can leyline bind that, and then okay, no land here. We need to get to 5 lands so we can activate the Ritual Chamber to get more value, but Beanstalk means that this game's probably just over. Because now they have everything they do draws them a card. Unfortunately, these cutdowns are not very good into animated overlords. Okay, we could duress away the leyline binding. And then we're going to die to our Ritual Chamber here really quickly. They can animate their 3/3. I think we got nut drawed, and that happens. Okay, the opponent is actually probably helping us out here in the sense that they got rid of our Annex. We don't go down to 1. Zur is very problematic. I think we're just dead because they have Zur. Then play it and activate multiple times. Nope, that stinks. Okay, well, Domain. I feel like if they're going to have to go for a card in that deck, if it like stays a problem, not that it is like dominating the meta completely, but it did win the last Pro Tour. Point being is, if it was a deck that they needed to ban something out of, Zur I feel like is the biggest problem. Sure, Beanstalk is a gross card that draws a bunch of cards and enables the deck a lot, but there's plenty of other Beanstalk decks that are not quite as potent. It's Zur being able to animate things that were just sitting on the board, swing in for massive life linking, like that nut draw. That nut draw is good enough to like try and fight mono red decks. Do we duress? I feel like our duresses aren't going to get much better, so the opponent is on Gruul, so yeah, we'll get rid of Burst Lightning. You know where to run the Heartfire Hero at some point, so they could Burst Lightning it. I don't know why they would, but it is an option. Or we just double cut down. Well, we're gonna get rid of the Heartfire, or the Emberheart Challenger and the Heartfire Hero before they can grow. Big fan of getting rid of the Emberheart Challenger because it can draw them cards. Or exile cards that they can play later on. Swift Spear, they have the Burst Lightning. Are they going to cast it? Take 5. Alright, Archfiend, you're kind of late. We can duress this away. And then guess we just cut down. They can't haste anything in because they don't have enough of lands. If we top deck a land, we play Archfiend and we have them on a clock. Okay, they have a haster, so that helps. And we drew some removal. Just in case they have like a Monstrous Rage, that could pump up its toughness. As well as give it prowess trigger. We'll just know where to run on our turn. Alright, we hit the land drop, so now we can play Archfiend in the Dross. And now all of our removal also starts draining them. Whenever opponent creature opponent control dies, its controller loses 2 life. Manifold Mouse by itself means that we can know where to run it, drain them. I think we got a swing in. Do I hold on to the nowhere to run in case they have another creature? Probably. If they cast another creature, we know where to run the Manifold Mouse. Say Rockface Village. I'm going to give it double strike. Try and get in for 2. We'll go ahead and know where to run it. Monstrous Rage only pumps it 1 toughness, so that should kill it. And then 2 more swings and the opponent's gone. I'll land off the top. We're going to hold on to that and pretend like we have something. Maybe not the best plan, but it is a plan. And the opponent scoops it up. 1 and 1. Alright, now if we draw into a 4th land drop, this is a pretty good curve, I feel like. The rest on the play is nice, especially if our opponent mulliganed, but they did not, okay. And it's mono red. Well, we hit a lightning strike, so that stops them from killing our slasher immediately. But they do have some nice cards. And I drew into none of those. How many removal spells are in this deck? We got 4 cut down, 2 anoints, 2 go for the throats, 2 Sheoldred's edicts, 2 nowhere to runs. So whatever that is, add it up. You do the math. That is 12. And then if you want to throw in Duress, we have 16 removal spells. Okay. Opponent stays afraid, stays very afraid. Very good, opponent. That's the correct strategy. Now block it. Block it with your puny little creatures. I mean, they could chump block or they could try and get rid of it. Looks like the opponent's going to try and get rid of it. It'll go to the graveyard and come back because it doesn't have any counters on it. It'll have 2 stun counters on it. We don't mind too much. We can play out these annexes, and this Bloodletter could start draining the opponent, so we don't even need to start attacking in, but I do like that attack because we get rid of a bunch of the opponent's board. I could play this other Bloodletter and swing in for 8, but I think I like the Annex plan to start draining them and gaining life ourselves. They take 4, we gain 2. Next turn we can do that again. And do we have enough to play? Oh, bye-bye. 2 and 1. Alright, well, this is a hand. 4 lands and 3 removal spells. Doesn't seem like much of a plan, but maybe it's what we go for. Someone's got the Kaito avatar. Maybe they're playing Dimir midrange or Dimir bounce. I don't know. The Sheoldred's Edict would be good into the Kaitos. Well, I feel like I shouldn't keep this, but at the same time, what does a better draw look like? A Liliana, an Archfiend or something, or I guess a Annex would be like the only thing that makes this hand better is having an Annex. Okay, it looks like the opponent might be on the Golgari self-mill deck. That is not what I was expecting, but it's fine with me. Though I guess if they hit their beanstalk here, we have to be a little concerned. Overlord of the Bailmerk is pretty good. Allows them to get back the Huskbusker Swarm. Good thing we did not kill the Gnawing Vermin here until after the Overlord. That way they don't get it back. And that allows us to... Ooh, Deep-Cavern Bat. Can we find your Beanstalks or something? Okay, they do have a Beanstalk. They also have a Quag Feast. I might just take the Quag Feast. They don't have the green for Beanstalk yet. So we just kind of have to hope they don't draw it. Cycle away a Chitin Gravestalker. I gotta Google how you pronounce that. Because I feel like I'm gonna butcher it. Or I'm butchering it, but I don't know. Alright, we'll bat you again and see if we can steal that Beanstalk. Molt Tender. And another Beanstalk? Do we just take Molt Tender? Maybe we take Molt Tender so that our edicts are better. If they get the green, they get the Beanstalks. Or like a Beanstalk anyways. So we'll take Molt Tender to weaken their creature. Or like, they can't go wide into us. They're stuck. They're stuck going tall. And that means our edicts can hit relevant creatures. Nowhere to run, not particularly good. If I had that last turn, I probably would have taken a Beanstalk. Taken? Or took. Oh my goodness. English is my first language and I'm still confused. Ah. The aglets on my hoodie keep smacking on the desk. Overwhelming Remorse, they steal the Quag Feast. Alright, things have gone poorly, but I can activate my Soulstone Sanctuary. They have green now. They do have an impending Overlord of the Bailmerk. I'll just play a Bloodletter. And the next turn we can start ripping removal. Hopefully we get a land or a Annex. Because we need a card draw engine to try and keep up here. Okay, I think I figured out English. Take, and then took and taken. Words. So, I took their Up the Beanstalk and their Molt Tender. And they were taken. You know what? I don't know. I did not figure out English at all. Okay, we have to discard a card. They're going to end up drawing a card. I mean, they're going to draw a lot of cards thanks to these Beanstalks. They find another Hollow Marauder, which is problematic. Because it means we're going to discard a card, and they're going to draw a card because they have a Beanstalk. And they found another Hollow Marauder. This is... Okay, maybe Beanstalk, we should just get rid of it as well. Just delete it all. Oh my god. If we had any graveyard hate or just drew into something besides removal spells, the problem with this plan here. Ah! Yeah, and the aglets on my sweatshirt are metal, so they make a particularly loud, annoying sound. Well, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Triple Hollow Marauder, though, feels pretty criminal. I guess we'll play another Bloodletter of Aclazotz and hope to top deck a, what's it called? No. An Annex at any time. If we were playing Graveyard Hate, this wouldn't be happening. Gosh darn it. Yeah, maybe I'm not the best at making decks, but I feel like having a Ghost Vacuum or two in the Mono Black deck seems pretty reasonable because you remove stuff naturally anyways a ton, so even if you're not into a graveyard deck, you can use that sacrifice to, or like you can use the other mode of Ghost Vacuum pretty effectively and just use the opponent's creatures against them. But it's going to always sound good when you're playing against a graveyard deck. Two and two. Alright, well, in between games, I take the opportunity to educate myself on the English language. Took is the past tense of taken, or take. Oh my goodness, words. Taken is the past participle. So you would say I took something and this was taken. If that makes any sense. Probably not. Because I frankly hardly understand it. No, I do, but well, this hand looks pretty awful into them. This is gonna be this is gonna be the first 2-3 of our standard event Saturday journey. Because I think we might get owned. No, you did not top deck a Burst Lightning. They don't play a mouse? Huh? Kill the bat. Nope. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. And sometimes you lose multiple times in a row. Hey, I took the deck list from the top of Untapped. Surely playing full playset of Duress is the right move, right? Opponent can Offspring their mouse because they drew into a ton of cards. And or well, they drew into a ton of lands is what I mean. Probably could have held off doing that, but felt like doing it. I probably should have also just ran out the Annex because we're losing on cards right now. I'm just too salty. And now you have your Monstrous Rage. No? Okay. No way. 5 lands deep. I'm on a red deck. And then of course they drew into their offspring creatures so they can actually make use of the mana. I'll play a creature, I guess. I don't really want to run out the Annex when we have something that could block and kill. Actually, I don't think it can block and kill because they can give it double strike, and so the first strike can kill something. Oh. I know Standard has a diverse metagame in the sense that no deck holds a dominant share at the moment, but I'm starting to get really burned out on Standard. It just feels like it's been a lot of the same thing. Well, probably because it has been, but I'm not a coward. I do have a removal, but I would like to draw some more removable. Opponent probably has a Witch Stalker's Frenzy, if I had to guess. Because they've been holding on to cards. Like they didn't play anything out, and then they just activated Hired Claw last turn. Opponent, are they going to go for the attacks? When you take a damage, they can pump up their Hard Claw, so our Unstoppable Slasher will die, but the Hard Claw will die as well. I would love a Bloodletter. Archfiend would also actually be better. Archfiend off the top. The land. Cool. Okay. Before they go to combat, like if they cast something here, we need to Edict in response to get rid of their token, I think. Alright, Prowess. I don't actually know if this matters. I just don't want them getting the trigger. We'll just make them sacrifice their token. I feel like our opponent should have been attacking in there. They were just holding on to Swift Spears. Wow. The absolute flood of the century, though. I feel bad for our opponent. I feel like there's no way they should have ended up in this position. But we're completely back into the game. That's insane. That's actually crazy. 3 and 2. Okay. Uh, this hand is interesting. I mean, I guess I keep it. Unstoppable Slasher. We'll find out how unstoppable it is this game. Opponent going for the very unique deck of Mono Red. I have to say, I feel so bad for our opponent in that last game. And it reminds me of, like, I feel like one of the things that's important if you want to have fun playing Magic is particularly making sure you're playing a deck that you have fun playing. Because when you have games like that, it's nice to be able to look back at, like, the other games where you really enjoyed playing the deck. And that keeps you in a more sane state of mind rather than, wow, I guess the universe decided no. Because our opponent just drew like 7 lands last game. And our opponent this game drew Sheltered by Ghosts. So I guess that means it's time to keel over and die. If the opponent has the right cards, they should be very easily able to kill us. Wrong order, but okay. Sometimes it don't matter. Monstrous Rage and you get to win. Yep. What? Okay, I was like, what? We win 3 and 3, so our rewards are the 200 gems in a pack. We go even in value, which isn't too bad. Let's see what we got out of the pack. Drum roll. It is Vin Wixit, Verbose Host. The card that probably, knocking on wood, will not see any standard play, but still, I think it's how many homunculus are there in Magic? I guess that's cool. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this this video. If you did, make sure to let me know what you want to see next week. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Take care of yourself. Ciao.